call with you real quick. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. But I'm going to be fast to make up for it. Does that sound good?
Sure, Casey, go
Okay,
ahead.
awesome. Anyway, yeah, because I know the good news is I'm trying to train my team to bring up creative offers, and they said that you guys weren't interested in that. Have you guys had a couple offers like that, like creative
Okay,
ones?
well, I've had plenty. I'm a pretty seasoned realtor. I'm carrying about 14 or 15 listings with about 5 to 10 in my pocket that I'm working on.
Wow.
So I hear this all day long. My phone gets blown up on them. And quite frankly, I'm going to be honest with you, Casey, I mostly don't give these people the time of day because I have a responsibility to the clients and the timelines, the contractual guidance and guidelines I need to meet. So I don't have time for these kind of calls they're all creative. They're all subject to, they're all, will give you a full price. We want to take over the terms, yada, yada,
Yeah.
yada.
Fair
Now, I'm
enough.
going to be honest with you. I'm not overly educated in those types of transactions. And quite frankly, I don't want to say don't have time to learn those. I mean, I know that they're probably good for some people. I just am not convinced at this point. I do have a legal obligation to obviously share information with my sellers. And I will do that. But if I know they're not interested, I just don't have time for the calls.
Yeah,
So
fair
that's
enough.
where I am. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I got in a fight with somebody the other day who said, "You're a bitch and I wouldn't want to work with you anyways." And I said, "Fuck you, go away." So,
Wow.
and I can be a bitch, but I do know, I just don't like oh, well, there's a way around that, or, oh, there's a way around that. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I am not a black and white realtor at all. I mean, I did the short sale world. I walk a gray line because I'm trying to do what's best for my client.
Yep.
And so I'm not all black and white, but I'm also not super risky, And I work with the warm and fuzzy, the people that have emotions around this, as do I when I have a client. And to me, it's not just about the numbers and just about getting the deal done. So that's probably where I don't mesh with. I'm going to put you in that category. You haven't said much yet. So you kind of guys, you kind of guys out there.
All
And
good.
I'm going to assume you're going to be in that same category. It's just, you might have the voice that gave you 15 minutes of my time, where the other people, I just say, fuck off. I don't have time.
Fair enough. Well, let me propose that. So you're loud and clear. I'm not going to propose that. But since you are so active, so I'm a little bit different. I've got about 250 units, and I'll buy some conventionally when rates are better. But I still buy stuff now where I'll do a conventional offer, right? Just going to be at a discount. But let me propose this. Just if you don't mind keeping an eye out for it. What I do, it's a little different, is if you got a property that needs work and you're like, this listing won't work because it needs 50,000 or 25, whatever the rehab is. I'm a fix and flipper. So what I do that's a little bit different is I'll go in, fix it all up, and I do a profit share on the back end with the seller. And what I would do in that situation, if you brought it, I would obviously happily give you that listing and at the higher price, right? Because we'll go in, my crew will fix it up, and we'll list it at the higher price and pay the seller on the back end. So that might be something to keep an eye out for. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is that simple? I know it's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to that. Normally I get the guy that is the fix and flipper who wants to, and I'm going to use words you don't like because, again, I'm a warm and fuzzy. I'm not all about the numbers. They steal it. They steal it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you do. You come in and you get it. You try to get it for 70, 80, 100,000 below.
Mm-hmm.
I have these listings. I get the offers every day, and when I say every day, I'm not lying. Every day. And they want to steal it. And some people, are desperate. And I just don't.
Yeah.
So
you don't feel good about it.
I struggle with that, And if you're somebody who said, and I do, I have probably, 3 or 4 that needs some work that an owner can't do or an owner needs to do, and I'm trying to find, can we spend 20 when we really need to spend 50? Can we spend 10 when we really need to spend 20, so that I can at least get our numbers somewhere, so you can at least not lose 50 to sell it. So I do have those, and you are the first person to pose that option. I still don't know if your number is, because not knowing how if you're a fix and flip guy, you're if you can get it for, let's say, and tell me if I'm wrong, 50 below my number, but yet you're going to get a return of 70 or 80 or whatever your number is, and then your split is, I don't know what your split is, on that, how, and It is about me too, because I work hard. Am I getting paid on the front end too, you know, from my seller because we sold, or are we just doing a one-time transaction, not a two-time transaction that I just get paid on the end? Which is, I just want to get paid for the work I do.
For sure.
I'm not all about, I don't know. I'm not good at sugarcoating things if you haven't figured that out.
For sure.
So I'm not like, okay, I got to get paid for the first sale and then I got to get paid for the second sale. You know, it's just, let's just do the right thing for everybody. And it's a win-win and not somebody feeling like they got fucked in the deal.
Yes. Let me go with that though. That's exactly why I do this. And because I can always give the same like lowball stealing the house offer to everyone else, because it is inherently risky, right? But this is where we share the risk with the seller. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go put my money in to fix this, and then we'll pay them on the back end. So that's point one. Point two though is we could typically create more value. And again, this is not a house that's like needs like little lipstick. It's like, hey, it needs some work. It needs a new kitchen, new bathrooms, paint, flooring, whatever, even roofs, siding. Like the bigger the job, that's when it typically makes more sense, because that's what, as you know, like if all of a sudden this house that you're getting all these lowball offers because it can't even get financing, well, now we come in, we've increased that value so much that now I could still make my profit, because I want to make like 20 to 50,000 on a flip. Okay. But here's the thing, I don't have to make so much. If we set it up this way, then I make sure I get paid back my rehab, and as long as I get paid back that, I don't need to go make $100,000. You know what I mean? Like, right. So that's why we can actually make it work for your seller, because that's why we do the profit share.
So typically, what you're doing is you're coming in, you're doing the rehab, you're putting in, I don't know, what's your average? I mean,
we're usually between 50 to 100,000 is what we're putting in. Is the cost is it is to get it all done, right? And it's my guys, right? Go ahead.
Okay, they're your guys, your rehab guys. Yep. Okay, so you're not paying retail, so that's good.
Yeah.
So you're coming in, you're spending 50 to 100. So let's just use which house are you looking at, first of all? I think your guys are looking at Santa Monica, right? In Maricopa? Is that the one you guys?
We had Turney. The one I had was Turney Ave.
Turney, okay, yes. Turney. Okay, Turney's tenant occupied, and that's just a little apartment style place. Okay. So I don't know if you're looking at it because of the price point.
I would honestly, let's scrap that. I would rather look at stuff that's like a house that you feel like needs value add.
Okay, so then let's, so yeah, Turney is more like apartment style condo, is what that is.
Okay.
So your ultimate goal is fixing, so let's back up. Go back to my scenario. So let's say that you don't have the numbers in front of you, so it's probably not fair. Like I've got one where are you at? Where are you physically located?
I'm in Tempe right now.
Okay, so you're in Arizona.
Yes.
Okay, so you know our Arizona market.
Yes.
Okay, so I've got one in Fountain Hills. It's under contract, but I just was going to use it for an example. Are you interested in Fountain Hills?
Absolutely.
So let's just throw that one at you. Do you want me to give you an address?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
This is perfect to do a hypothetical, so go ahead, throw me the address.
Yeah, this is, I think, a perfect house to do that hypothetical on. So you caught me at good timing, and I'm not telling you to go fly a kite.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I apologize for my bad attitude.
It's all good. I get it. I would be the same if I got blown up all day like you, so don't worry.
I do. I get blown up all day long. So my Fountain Hills property is, you'd think I know it by heart, but I have a lot of them, and I'm not shooting my own horn. I'm just trying to stay.
That's why I wanted to keep you on the phone. I'm like, if you're active, like that's what I want to work with.
Yeah, I mean, where the hell is my property? I have it. Because I had checked on active, and it's not active. It's pending. Okay, pending. So my Fountain Hills, I think it's 17112 East La Posada. So LA space PASADA. I don't know. Do you have MLS access?
Yep.
What are you looking at?
I'm just on Zillow. So I got it. Pending 475. Got it. So perfect.
What's your last name, Casey?
Gregersen.
Gregerson?
SEN. Yep.
EN and Casey with a K or CASEY?
CASEY.
Okay. So are you an agent?
Nope. Fix and flipper. And
no
I do a lot of
agent.
rentals too. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll send you my contact too once you're done.
Okay. So let's look at La Posada. Okay.
Yep.
So a couple things. Let me just tell you, just so you're looking at apples to apples. So La Posada, It has, everybody wants it, and they want it for nothing. La Posada, I've changed the square footage. So La Posada has a Arizona room on the back. Originally, when I listed it, we listed it at that square footage, 2,082 square foot with that enclosure. And we had a contract, a fix and flipper, everything went well. We could not find, because it was the original owners, we could not find a permit for that enclosure. So after he went through all his due diligence, he came back and said, since we don't have a permit, it does have a step down in that.
Okay.
So you would have to, if you were going to do it right, you level the floor. Well, you can't level the floor without raising the roof.
Yep.
Because you're going to be too tight there because
Okay.
of that step down. So couldn't find a permit. So he's like, we're either going to have to tear that enclosure down when we do our flip. So we went back to the 1660 square foot without that livable. Last week, lo and behold, the son found the permit. I have it. I scanned it. I've got it. And so then I changed the square footage back. I didn't change the price. I left it at $475. We were going to bump it. So I've had offers all day long, $450 and below.
Okay.
I had an owner occupied in at $465. She couldn't perform. So long story short, everybody wants to come in. They want to rip this apart. So I put my square footage back up. Something like this, these guys are thinking they're going to come in there and take out a couple walls, flip it. It's updated but not upgraded. So new carpet, new paint, scrape the ceilings, newer AC, newer roof. Pool's been redone pretty much. But I mean, it needs, it's not, it could be a really nice flip.
Yep.
With 80, 100 grand into it. These
Okay.
guys are thinking they're going to get 7.25 for it. I think they're crazy, but that's my problem. That's for you guys to figure out. So anyways, this one is a perfect example. Seeing that number, seeing what I've just now told you, you haven't seen the inside of it, but what are you wanting to steal it at?
Yes, you said.
You know?
Yep. No, this is all good. So let me just add some of these in here. So I'm gonna say that the rehab, I'm just gonna be conservative and call it like 120,000. I always like to build in some cushion there, because what I'll do is I'll commit to a number, kind of like a GC would. It's like, here's my number. We're not going over. If we do, that's on us. So that would be the 120. Okay. So then, do you know what they owed on that house?
0.
Okay, that makes it easier. But I'm just letting you know, it works either way, because we're going to turn it fast, right? So if there's a loan on it, there's no sense paying it off. Like, let's just go fix it up quickly and sell it. But that makes it even easier since that's the case. So let's actually do that, 120. So that makes it really easy, honestly. And then sometimes, what's cool too is if your seller's like, hey, we need 30,000 up front or 20,000 or whatever. When it's free and clear, I'm happy to give them some cash up front. But we'll assume, do you want to put a number in there, or just call that they don't need any money up front? They just want to get it in
They don't need, it's ready. No, it's ready. At this point, there's more to the story. I have two brothers that hate each other. Beneficiary deed is how they got it. They hate each other. One's out of state. It's been a nightmare. It's like a husband and wife of, I'm not signing this till he gives me my favorite that. It's been an effing nightmare.
Wow.
So, but the one local brother is actually a contractor. He's a drywall guy. So he had already gone in there. He's done drywall. He's done paint for me, because I told him before we list it, I want to get as much money as I can. You're in the business. Scrape the damn ceilings and repaint the whole house. Just fucking do it.
Yep.
So he did it. And now the other brother's like, well, screw you. I didn't give you permission. I'm not paying for it. So that's a whole nother, not your problem. That's the fight I have to deal with in getting signatures.
Ooh, fun.
It's
Okay.
It's a nightmare.
Well, check this out. So you'll like this. Okay, so this is a good scenario, and I just plugged it in as you were talking. Let's say, the way it would work, we would close, and we could even look at paying a commission on the front end, or just the back. Again, that's whatever makes sense. I'm open. But let's say we close it on the front end, and we could give them money up front or not, but we'll just say we're not. We would then go put the money in. We would fix it up. So then when we sell it, that's when it's important to understand how it works. And I have a table. I'm going to send you a picture after this, but I'm going to walk you through it. Like, the first 120 would go back to us, And then after that, and any holding and closing costs, I've got them estimated, right? But I'm saying if we sold it for 700, your low end, and maybe we could go, like what I'm going to do is actually give you a range, right? Because you thought 700 is a little aggressive. Do you think 600 or 650 is more reasonable?
I mean, I do, and I'll be honest, I don't do a ton in Fountain Hills. The one thing about this one is it's not in one of the HOAs, so I understand that's better. This one does not. It's got a big lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of pluses, but, you know, I've been focusing on getting rid of it for him, but not from a standpoint of caring what you rehab guys do. I just want to get rid of it for him at a price that makes sense based on the condition I believe it's in for a owner-occupied buyer.
Bingo. Okay. You know? So perfect. So I just ran it. I always do a couple scenarios. So I said 640 after ARV all the way up to 700, right?
Right.
So
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and so then I say, and I've got it 85% going to the seller, 15% to me, because again, I don't need a budge because I'm making sure I get paid my 120. So what that looks like to your seller is they would have got 481,000 all the way up to 538, depending on where we sold it. Would be a scenario. And this, and I'll send you a picture of this so it makes sense. But this is exactly what I do with the sellers. Is I'm like, well, what I would do is say I would draw this up and give it to you. Be like, hey, here's your range of what we think you'll make, and then they can make a decision. You know what I mean? Because that's the variable we don't know, is we don't know what it'll sell for. But that's why I like to give like 3 or 4 scenarios.
Right. So on that case, with you planning at a 640 to 700, you're looking at, with you getting your piece of the pie back, 481 to 538. So let's just use the low number of the 481. How much of that is going back to the seller? All
of it. That's the seller's number. And that, you know what, and that's net. That's after we pay you on the back end. I've got 6% budgeted in on the back end for the commissions.
So you do budget in, so 3 and 3 is what you budget in.
Yeah, and we could obviously, if we need to tweak that, we can.
I can tell you that's going to net, but that plan nets my seller way better than what he's getting right now on the contract we're in.
Yeah. Let me send you this screenshot, and then and if that falls through, or and I'm even happy to share this little Google sheet with you, and you could plug it in too. But regardless, anytime you have the numbers, and I'll text you this, but all I really need is how much do they owe, kind of a rough estimate for the rehab, and what do you think the ARV is? And based on that, I can throw this together really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I can run this. I mean, I've been doing real estate for almost 24 years, and I've worked with some guys that, I do the numbers for them for the ARV. I don't like the front side of it to go submit the offers. I mean, I just know what that number could look like, and I had another one. But now, what about? So you want to fix and flip? Do you want to hold anything that's tenant occupied? Because I get a lot of those. That don't need work necessarily.
Yeah, it's still cash flow.
I guess it all depends on what you're getting it for, and I do have numbers I plug in for that. So what are you wanting to see that return at? I mean, I'm anticipating most of the people I see, they want to see a 5%.
Yeah,
and so that's the number I'm looking at. It just depends on what each buyer wants.
Yeah, we're probably a little more selective in that. Like I own about 400 units, some large multifamily, but also some single family houses. But we're just because I also do a lot of marketing, and like we do like Facebook and Google ads and direct mail. But I still just love like having connections like you, because then I don't have to go spend all that marketing dollars and can still find a profitable deal. But as far as rentals, I'm gonna. Like if I'm looking at a multifamily, we're looking for like a 10% cap rate. But like depends on what numbers you're looking at. My cash on cash return, I'm trying to get like 25% cash on cash return. So I'm pretty a little selective, kind of picky. I might not be your best buy and hold. There's always somebody who's going to pay more than me, but I'm the type of guy that I can actually close.
Yeah, well, and I do. So because my license is hung with a property management company. I'm not a property manager, been there, done that. So I was on to property management. I'm there because they had a need for a realtor to help their owners. A lot of my owners are out of state, out of country. A lot of them, they've been in rental properties for a while, so they don't have a relationship maybe anymore with a realtor. So my role there is to help those owners that are considering selling those properties. more often than not, they don't want to wait till the tenant's out. And I want them to wait till the tenant's out because I'm going to get a better return for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that because it's going to show better. But now all of a sudden they've got to, inherit their costs that, they bought the house and moved out of state. And, I'm upside down $100 a month and they don't want to be now pay that $2,000 extra. So it's, those are the nightmares kind of that I deal with. But then again, I will have some that, okay, tenants are out now and they just trashed the place and the owner doesn't have the means to do what we need to do. And then that's probably the phone calls I would make to you.
Yeah.
But I also have that relationship with our company also can do the same thing you do. And they're very selective because they're going to keep them in the company. They're going to keep them as a rental. So we've done a few of those. It's just, again, I just get bombarded with your kind of phone calls all day long, and I just don't have the time for them, and I need to, it's important to have someone like you in my back pocket, I think.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
And just know Tammy's not going to sugarcoat it. She's going to say damn, shit, and fuck. So that's just how
exactly.
She goes.
But we're gonna find something that could help and be beneficial for both sides, which I appreciate.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I like what you have to say. Yeah, definitely. Your focus is single family. You definitely your team teed you up for the wrong property on Turkey. So they teamed you up on that one. So they get a big fail on that one for you, just so you know.
That's okay.
And that's okay. Everybody's learning. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Yep. Perfect. Well, what I could do is I'll send you this this little spreadsheet, or I'm going to send you a picture on your phone so you can just see it for the future. And if that offer falls through, Tammy, just let me know. But it's a good, and I would just say, yeah, save my number. The next one you find, whether it's a rental like you just mentioned, that makes sense, or a fix and flip, just call me and I'll run my numbers real quick and we can give you a yes or no.
Okay, no, I'll do that. I'll keep you handy. Everybody else, I've told them I would, and I haven't. But I'm going to save you in my phone.
All right.
Easy.
Awesome.
Do what you can, and then if there's something that it's like, hey, Tammy, you could at least run these before you call me and know, that it might be worthwhile, then go for it. So whatever. Yeah, I'll put you in my data bank.
All right. I appreciate you. Let's stay in touch.
Thanks, Casey. It was nice to chat with you.
You too. Okay.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, wow. That was a good one. Flipped her. That was good. I'm going to send her you guys couldn't see my screen, but I was working through the Revive method calculations, which I added in the spreadsheet, which I'll share with you.